Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Wing and a Prayer, right? It's on Amazon Prime, and I couldn't find anything on A Wing and a Prayer, so not Wing and a Prayer, but on a Wing. Dennis Quaid is in it, Heather Graham, Jesse Metcalfe, and evidently Dennis Quaid is on a plane with his family, and the pilot dies. He's got to take it over and land the plane. That's what its synopsis says. It's based on a true story. It is 5.6 on IMDb. It is 1,412 people rated it so far, so it's pretty cool. If you have Amazon Prime, you get it for free, you know, by paying for Amazon Prime, and I'm kind of mildly excited to check it out. It's funny when I hear On a Wing and a Prayer, right? And I know this is old. We just had this at work talking about a certain song. Somebody thought they recognized the theme song to The Greatest American Hero, and they were wrong. It is Believe It or Not, and I had to sing it for them. They're like, no, the other song was, and I was like, wait, no, the theme song goes, and I had to sing it, which, you know, made everybody toss their cookies. But at least he realized, and you're right, that was the theme song. So that's what reminded me when I saw, you know, On a Wing and a Prayer, because that's part of the line in that movie, or in that TV show. Alright, there you go. That's it. I'm going to get into this, see what it's about, give you a better idea, and let you know what I think. Stick around. I'll be back. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of A Wing and a Prayer. I just realized that even with the title in it, I wasn't sure, but it's faith-based. But not, I mean, like, of course, if you're going to be, you know, potentially crashing a plane, you might pray a little bit. So, you know, it's very mild. If, you know, I always like to give people rating on, you know, because I don't know where the tolerance level is, whatever. There's a couple prayers in the beginning, and then, of course, you know, and so to set it all up, what happens is Dennis Quaid's brother dies, and so they fly to wherever to you know, to bury him, essentially go to his funeral, and they're on their way back on Easter, and that's when this all happens, right? But when his brother dies, he gets the thought of, you know, why does bad things happen to good people, and, you know, why would God let this happen, kind of thought. And then, of course, they're flying home, and the pilot dies, as we know, and he's forced to take over flying the plane, you know, so there's that moment of, well, God hasn't been helping me, why would he help me now, kind of stuff. That's really, you know, the gist of the faith piece of it. Now, as far as the movie's concerned, found myself on my phone a lot, not terribly interested. You kind of can guess what's going to happen. I don't think, you know, I mean, I don't know. At least I guessed from just reading the synopsis that they're not telling the story if it ends a different way. It's just what I'm thinking. I'm not spoiling it for you, but you never know, right? But it's interesting, and I guess it is all based on a true story, so there's some, they play it all out, whereas he's flying, he's got to reach air traffic control, and he gets one set of air traffic controllers who help him a little bit. Then he's got to go to another because he goes into a different airspace. They've got to help him, but they don't have the knowledge of the plane, so they have to call Jesse Metcalfe's character, and over a cell phone, you know, share information and help him land this plane. Him, his wife, and his 2 daughters are on the plane. And that's really how everything works in. Now, I'll say, and there's also another piece of this. So a lot of, you know, so that's the whole gist of the movie, right? Some of the things that I'll call out that I think are areas of opportunity. First of all, the plane in the sky is, you know, the special effect, not special effects, I guess, you know what I mean, the green screen-ish, whatever it was. It didn't look, you could tell it wasn't realistic, you know, when you see Dennis Quaid in the pilot and the plane movie. It's just not done really well, you know. And usually that kind of stuff doesn't bother me if the message is good and all that, but, you know, I don't know. I wasn't bought in on the message either. It didn't hit me like a lot of faith-based movies really do. This one didn't. I mean, this is, you know, same kind of faith conundrums that we all go through if you're into that kind of thing, right? Why does good thing happen? Why does bad thing happen to good people? Now I need God to help me land a plane. You know, we all go through that. So you know, like that was like, that was that. Dennis Quaid is married to Heather Graham in this movie. Dennis Quaid, I looked it up, is almost 70. Heather Graham is like 52 or 53 or something like that. So, you know, a little mismatch there. I like them both for the most part in other movies, but they weren't given a lot of room in this one, and what they were given was, you know, whatever. So there's that aspect of it. Then there's extra character development, lack of development, you know, teases, if you will, in this movie. So there's the Jesse Metcalfe side of things, right? And we get a little bit of background on what happened with him. But, you know, him and his girlfriend are not getting along, but we don't know why. And they don't retouch on that, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit more openly. I'm not going to ruin the ending of the film. You already probably kind of know. But there was that whole character piece of it. Like, I understand what happened to him in his life, and I got that backstory. But why are they like this and whatever? There's the little girl I mentioned about who wants to be a pilot. And they set it up like she has a flight simulator in her room, and she's got all this stuff. She's very knowledgeable, which is fantastic. I love it. She's very driven. She wants to be a pilot. But serves no purpose at all in this movie. None whatsoever, except for somebody who, you know, can hear what's going on because she could tap into the airwaves. So I was lost on that one, right? Like, what is the purpose? I thought she was going to jump in and be like, look, dude, this is what you need to do. Serves no purpose at all. You know, and the whole dad thing, whatever. So then, now let's jump to the air traffic controller who, you know, the male air traffic controller who was there. He had a drinking problem for some reason, and I think maybe they're alluding to the fact that it was because he's an air traffic controller. I think that is common with them. There's, what was the other movie with John Cusack and Billy Bob Thornton? You know what I mean? Well, you know, they're kind of crazy too. So maybe that's what they're saying. They don't play that out. He goes to bars, he drinks a lot. He goes to a bar once and drinks 3 shots at a time, hits on the lead singer of the band, whatever. And then, you know, he's now the air traffic controller. And it's not like he's drunk on a job. He's just there. But there's no development. Then, you know, they start a little development on our man, and then, you know, be like, that's really it. That's the whole purpose. So he drank a little bit, and now he maybe doesn't want to drink. I don't know. And then he runs. My man's fast, or at least he looks fast. He runs for no purpose at all. They say the EMS or the fire truck crew, all that stuff, are going the wrong way. No, they're not. And what were you gonna? He runs, and there's no purpose in him running. It's so there was that piece of it. Like, there's things that just bothered me in this movie. Besides the fact that I wasn't super interested because I figured out what was going to happen, kind of, sort of, whatever. And then there's these other little pieces that just like, what? So there was one other thing that I wanted to call out, but now I forget. But, oh, here's the last thing. One of the things I always like in movies about real life stories is how they say on the screen what has happened since the movie and show real pictures. So they gave us a lot of that, which is great. But like, some of the stuff is like, what does that have to do with anything? I don't, you know, okay, you know, whatever. They gave us a lot more than most movies do, and some of it was like, okay, thanks for all of that. But then I always like to look to see how they look. You know, do they really look like the person? No. I mean, they had the female air traffic controller in this movie, who doesn't have a big role, who also, while guiding him for the planes, like, well, if you feel more comfortable, do it that way. It's like, what? He's like, should I turn? Well, if you feel like you want to turn, let's go ahead and give it a try. Like, it was, and that dialogue going back and forth, you know, and how nobody else really knew how to help him at all during this time. But anyway, she is a black woman in the movie. They show the real girl. She's a white girl. I was like, what? Why? You know what I mean? Now that the runner, the running alcoholic guy, looked a little bit like his character. But you know, there's all these things that that kind of made me like not so excited about this film. A little disappointed. So, whew, felt like I ran. I didn't want to rant. Again, people do a lot better job than what I can do. I watched it, the whole thing, and I mean, and as I say this, it's not like a 4 or anything like that, or 3 or 2 or 1. It just, I'm being a little critical on this one, so that's what I got. Well, I mean, anything with these actors in, I'll watch again, but a couple of things I think they could have fixed. Alright, that's it. I don't know if you stuck with me this long, but I appreciate it. Hopefully I was somewhat helpful, and check it out if you want. You know, On a Wing and a Prayer. Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just... That's it, sorry. Alright, thanks for tuning in. Kimmel Pub.